And welcome back. Glad to have you here for another podcast episode. Now, this episode came to me because of a lot of the comments and DMs that I get about our pricing in our business. When I post about, hey, we charge this customer, whatever, 500, 600, 1100, or whatever the case may be. Like, a lot of people are like, dude, that's a ripoff. I can't believe anyone would pay that. I can't believe, you're charging that much. You can easily do that for X amount. So this here is kind of explaining more into detail on why we charge, not why we charge what we charge, but what else goes into what we charge that isn't just detailing in itself. So this will be a great episode. So we'll dive right into why you need to be more than just another detailer to your customer. So point numero uno is that if the only thing you're focused on is being a detailer for hire, then you're limiting your potential. Now, what I mean by this is not saying you should go and offer 10 different services or go from detailing to PPF to tint. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is that if you, in your mind and in your business, the only thing that you're actually looking at is I want to become a better detailer, then that's where you're limiting yourself to where you don't pay attention to customer service, you don't pay attention to customer experience, you don't pay attention to, the holistic view of your business. And the only thing, the number one thing that you wake up thinking is I need to become a better detailer. Let me go take a training class. Let me go watch some YouTube videos. Let me go read a blog post. Let me go watch this webinar on detailing. Then yes, you are 100% limiting yourself to what you can actually be doing. Because as I've said for years now, the detailing part of your detailing business plays a small role in the success of your business. You cannot just think day in and day out, how do I get better results? How do I get that stain out? How do I refine the paint for more clarity? How do I apply the coating? You cannot stick with that mindset for 4, 5, 10 years and expect to expand. All right. It's just, you can't do it because I'll go into the next one. Is that there's many other detailers in your area that can produce the same results. And so many people do not like hearing this, or they'll start putting up a fight of like, oh, well, I do this and I do it that way, and I don't see other detailers doing that way. You have to understand that detailing is a commodity. You can literally go anywhere, not anywhere, okay? Like I'm being a bit exaggerative, but you can go just about anywhere and get the same results, right? Obviously, the $5 car wash is not going to be able to do a 2-step correction and coating, all right? Not that. I'm saying is, if you are doing a 2-step correction and coating, a customer can go somewhere else and find someone else that does a 2-step correction and coating and get the same results. Okay, so still bucket it within the same skill level. Okay, like yes, your high volume car wash isn't gonna do what a paint correction specialist is gonna do, right? Let's apples to apples here. But what you do can easily be replicable by someone else, right? So your skills alone isn't going to really set you apart. Now, yes, again, going back to the example, it will set you apart from the $5 wash, which is like high volume, low skill, low results versus, high skill, low volume, right? Of course. But in terms of if you can polish out 90% versus 85%, there's not much of a difference there. Okay. So what was the point I just made? I already forgot. Right. There's many other detailers in your area that can do the same thing. And I'll tell you another story is that I used to work at a dental practice. I was the marketing director for 4 different locations. And when I talked to the CEO, the owner of these of the company, one of the first things he said when we were talking about discussing my role and what we're going to do is that he clearly said, Oscar, you have to understand, we are in a commodity. We can't just focus on cleaning teeth. They can go literally down the road and get the same service, right? And this is a company that with one of their offices, they're doing $3 million a year in revenue with just one office, and they had 4 offices. So, and this was like a premier, I guess you could say, like a top tier dental practice where like everything was to the best of its ability, like fancy equipment, fancy this. Everyone was paid well in a nice area. All these different things. And one of the first things he said is, look, this is a commodity. Anyone can go anywhere to get their teeth cleaned. A lot of times, a lot cheaper than here, right? So we can't just focus on cleaning teeth. That's the baseline. And it's the same thing with literally any service business. The baseline is the service that's being offered, right? If someone needs a plumber, the baseline is, I need my toilet fixed, I need my sink fixed, I need my car cleaned, I need my lawn mowed, I need my pool cleaned, right? That is the baseline that everyone is working off of, right? That is what everyone is doing. Now, it's everything that surrounds that baseline that adds value to your business. So when someone says, wow, you charge so much to just clean that vehicle, that's too much. We're not just charging to clean that vehicle. We're charging everything else around that. And what many other people miss, because a lot of people just focus on, is the baseline of the services. Hopefully, I'm making sense here. Okay, so most businesses, not just detailers, most businesses do the bare minimum to get the job done. And to me, that's always been a surprise, because I always thought, in my head, I've always, actually, I take that back, not always, but in recent years, you want, right, going back to the first point, right, you need to look at the entire customer experience, the baseline, everything that I just mentioned. But if you go to a lot of other businesses, they don't care about customer service. They don't care about customer experience. They're just there to get the job done, and that's it. So when people say, oh, you charge so much for XYZ, it's like, my guy, 80% of the other detailers out there aren't looking at what I'm doing as far as everything else that we're doing aside from the services in itself, right? So it's does anyone else really talk about, I'm talking in terms of other businesses, not just detailers, but other businesses, but you can, we're talking about detailers here, but other businesses as well, is do they really care about customer service? And of course, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, of course we do. But do they really put an emphasis, and do they have a process in place? And do they, actually implement some type of procedure, SOP, that helps with the customer experience process, right? Is a process, hassle-free, seamless? Is it super easy to book, to talk to you, to get questions answered, to reschedule, to cancel? Are all those things as easy and convenient as it can be to the customer? Do they have any questions? Do they, all these other little things that are on the customer end, are those addressed in their business? Oftentimes it's not. It's just not even addressed. It's not even a thing that crosses their mind, right? They're not worried about, responding within 10 minutes, picking up the call and this, or getting back to them at this. It doesn't cross their mind. Most businesses, not just detailers, most businesses literally just do the bare minimum to get by. Literally just do the bare minimum. So if you have a business, right, because this is a general thing of all businesses, if you have a business that goes a step further, aside from the service, that's hey, you actually want to take care of the customer genuinely feels wow, these people are really on it. They're talking to me. They're giving me all their information, advice, recommendations. They're answering all my questions. They're providing all these other resources. They're, really want to make sure that I understand what I'm getting. They've clarified on the services. They have taken me through every step of the process of what's going to take place. I feel 100% confident. I can verify that they know what they're talking about. I can see that many other customers are happy with their services. I can tell that if something does go wrong, they will fix it. If you have all that in their head before you even service the vehicle, you are far beyond what many other businesses even think about doing, right? So that's what it comes into. I keep on saying in the comment section is we don't just offer detailing services, right? They're not just contacting us and saying, you know what, I want to pay this premium price because you guys do the absolute best. You can literally go anywhere to find just about the same service, right? Again, keeping it within the same tier of services, right? The $5 car wash can't do what we do, but there's plenty of other detailers that can do the same type of services that we can, right? So it's not just about the service. It's about everything that surrounds the service, which is primarily on the customer side and customer experience side of things. So it's just crazy. I see these comments and I'm like, dude, we're a commodity. If you wanted, you could easily find a cheaper detailer that offers the same service, but the customer doesn't have the confidence to look for someone without it's hard for a customer to find someone that can do it cheaper. What am I trying to say here? It's harder for a customer to find someone to do it cheaper that doesn't have all the assurances, I guess you could say, or like the verification of what we have in terms of like customer reviews, all the photos on our website, all the copy on our website, all the our customers and like what we do on our Instagram. Like you can't find that somewhere else. Like the customer won't have the confidence to hire someone like that, right? So basically what I'm saying is the customer wants to hire someone that they know will get the job done right far before they actually get out there to do the job, right? Like you want to feel confident in who you're contacting and who you're doing business with from the very get-go. Like you don't want to have to wait until they get there to be like, ooh, like are they going to do a good job? No, like from the first initial call or email, like we are going to show every step of the way that we are the right choice, that they can have confidence in us to go to their location, right? To give us their address, to go service their vehicle. And like we're going to make sure that the customer is confident in that decision far before we actually go out there and service the vehicle. Hopefully, I had a little struggle explaining that. So hopefully you guys stuck with me on that one, because even I was a little lost in explaining that. So, I got water on my mouth. Okay, so next point is you need to optimize the entire customer experience from start to finish. And I've been kind of touching on these points. What time is it? I've been touching on these points basically this whole time, where what do you do from the very first call or email or text? Like, do you have a process in place that you try to kind of take the customer through to make sure it is the best experience that the customer can have, right? Are you, is there things in place, right? SOPs, standard operating procedures, when you're in person with the customer to make sure that you have, that they are taken care of, right? Are there certain things that you say or things that you do or things that you, whatever the case may be, to make sure that the customer's like, wow, like these people are just really on it. Wow, like, they keep on surprising me about how good their service is. Like, do you think about that? Does it cross your noggin to be like, whoa, how does the customer see it, right? How is the customer experience from their end, not from your end, right? Not that they're just paying your premium prices, not any of that. It's how does the customer perceive you, and what can you do in that entire process to make that experience and to make that perception much better in their eyes about you, right? Very simple. I won't go on too long on that one because I've been kind of talking about that the entire podcast episode. So we'll end it right there. And the next point is, this is the one that you actually like to hear, is that you need to provide exceptional results. And I mean like actual detailing results. Like you have to be the best that you can, right? I spend a lot of time talking about detailing isn't important as far as like running the business part. But of course, if you want premium rates or if you want to charge higher rates, like the results that you produce have to be far better than what 90% of everyone does. So at this point, it's like, yes, like aside from all that too, it does tremendously help to be able to provide exceptional results, whether that's just interior, like whatever you're doing, it does help to be able to provide what, 80% of other detailers can't do out there. And that's the type of customers that we're getting, right? Like a customer that hires us, right? They know that they can go down to the $5 car wash to get their interior clean or vacuumed or what have you, but they still come to us. Like, let's say, I'll give you an example. Like our mini interior detail, right? It's just a thorough vacuuming, right? Thorough vacuuming and wiping down the interior, cleaning the glass and door jambs. That is it. There's no thorough cleaning. Like there's no thorough agitation. There's no shampooing. There's no extracting. There's no none of that. If there is any of that, right? Like pet hair removal or removing stains, that will be at additional price, but just a thorough vacuuming, wiping down the dust across the interior, cleaning the glass and wiping down the door jambs, right? Let's say for a Toyota Corolla, right? Let's say that's going to be like, I don't know, $80, right? Or let's say for a like a Subaru Forester, that could be like $120, $140. I don't know, right? I'm just thinking off the top, so I'm not putting too much thought process into this. But they can easily get that same service down the road for $20, right? And they can still vacuum it, they can still wipe it down, they can still touch up the door jam. But why is it that they come to us, right? It's because everything I've been talking about the customer experience, but also because we just have better results. Yes, it's still just a thorough vacuuming on both ends, right? the $20 car wash, they'll still thoroughly vacuum. We're still gonna thoroughly vacuum, but the thorough vacuuming is still worlds different in terms of the end results that we get, right? So on this point, the final point, it is that you have to be able to produce better results than mostly everyone. You probably won't be like the absolute best, because who is really the absolute best? So I won't give you that one, but you have to be in the top echelon of detailers that produce the best result. Because if you can have the whole customer experience part. Actually, it doesn't matter, because you could still charge premium rates contextually to the type of services that you're offering and still do fine. Meaning, like, you could still apply everything that I'm telling you to volume car washes, right? Like, you 100% can. And within that realm, you can still charge a premium rate for a car wash and still be fine, right? Like, you don't have to be like, well, I guess that means I have to do paint correction and coatings and, deep interior cleanings for this to work. No, it really doesn't. You could still do car washes, maintenance washes. Like, you could still do whatever you're doing. And this is 100% still applicable within the type of business model or organization that you're running, right? It 100% is. Like, you don't really need to change anything in terms of the services if it still meets your goals. Like, we can get way more into detail of like what you need to change and stuff. But generally speaking, like, just, putting it out there is that everything that I'm saying here is applicable to whatever type of business model or service or price range that you have. For the most part, it should be. So I think I'll end it right here. This one is a rather short one, I believe. So just wanted to talk this one out. So I'll be sending this episode to people that are like, "What do you charge so much? How can you charge that much?" Because it's not all about the detailing. It's oftentimes a lot more than just the detailing. And hopefully this episode kind of, got that point across. I stumbled across my words quite a bit on this one. So hopefully you guys stuck with me through that. If you want any clarification, let me know in the comment section down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Or you can go to Instagram. If you're listening to this, you can go to Instagram at Detail Groove and shoot me a DM. Again, I try, although I don't respond to not even like 50% of them now, I do read at least 90% of all the DMs, comments, and stories, responses to the stories and emails and comments. Like, I do read most of them. I just don't have the time now to respond to all of them. So shoot me another DM. Even if you sent me a DM and I haven't replied, just know that I've most likely read it already, and I'll at some point try to address it. So yeah, shoot me a DM, send me an email. I would prefer a DM. That's probably the easiest one. Unless you're a student in one of my courses, then you have to email me, because they get lost in the DM so quick. But if you email me, I'll respond to you much quicker. If you're a student is who I'm referring to. But other than that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up right here. Again, leave me a comment down below if you're on YouTube, or go to Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I will talk to you on the next one.